Today we'll discuss reactions of amines. First is basic character of amines, that is their reaction with acids. Being basic in nature, all types of amines react with HCl, HNO3, H2SO4 etc. to form soluble salts. Methylamine reacts with HCl to form the corresponding soluble methyl ammonium chloride. Aniline can also react with HCl to give anilinium chloride. A secondary amine, that is dimethylamine, reacts with H2SO4 to form the soluble dimethyl ammonium sulfate salt. Tertiary amine gives trialkyl ammonium nitrate when made to react with nitric acid. Next is carbylamine reaction or Hofmann's carbylamine reaction. This is actually a delicate test for primary amines. Aliphatic as well as aromatic primary amines, when warmed with chloroform and an alcoholic solution of KOH, give the corresponding carbylamines or isocyanides. This will have a characteristic unpleasant or foul smell. RNH2, that is a primary amine, reacts with chloroform and an alcoholic solution of KOH. This, upon warming, yield the corresponding alkyl carbylamine or alkyl isocyanide RNC. Ethylamine, thus upon warming with chloroform and an alcoholic solution of KOH, give ethyl carbylamine or ethyl isocyanide, which have a characteristic foul smell, C2H5N triple bond C. Aniline, which is also an aromatic primary amine, undergoes carbylamine reaction to give phenyl carbylamine or phenyl isocyanide, C6H5NC. This will have a characteristic foul smell. But aliphatic or aromatic secondary and tertiary amines do not give this reaction. Thus, carbylamine reaction is a delicate test for primary amines and it can be used to distinguish primary amines from secondary and tertiary amines. Next is alkylation. Primary, secondary and tertiary amines react with alkyl halides to form secondary amines, tertiary amines and quaternary ammonium salts. Thus, the process of introducing an alkyl group into a molecule is known as alkylation. This has been already discussed in the preparation of amines, that is the ammonolysis of alkyl halides. When an alkyl halide is heated with an ethanolic solution of ammonia, it undergoes nucleophilic substitution reaction to give the amine. If ammonia is present in large excess, then the reaction of an alkyl halide with ammonia gives primary amine. But if alkyl halide is taken in excess, then the primary amine obtained will react further with alkyl halide to give secondary amine, which again reacts with alkyl halide to give tertiary and finally the quaternary ammonium salt. Thus, alkylation of primary amine generates secondary amine, tertiary amine and finally the quaternary ammonium salts. The process of continued alkylation of amine using an excess of alkyl halide until the quaternary ammonium salt is obtained is known as exhaustive alkylation. If the alkylation is done using an excess of methyl halide until the quaternary ammonium salt is obtained, then it is known as exhaustive methylation. Next is acylation. Acylation is the process of replacement of hydrogen atom of the amino group by the acyl group, that is RCO group. So the replaceable hydrogen atoms are present only in primary and secondary amines. Acylation is usually the reaction with acid chlorides, acid anhydrides and esters. Thus, primary and secondary amines undergo acylation when treated with acid chloride or acid anhydride in the presence of a base to yield N-substituted amides. Since there is a CONH bond, this is an amide. Since an alkyl group is attached to the nitrogen atom, they are generally known as N-substituted amides. So the reaction of acetyl chloride with ethylamine gives N-substituted amide, N-ethyl acetamide. This is an acetylation reaction. Since the acylation is done with acetyl chloride, it is known as acetylation. The mechanism is actually a nucleophilic substitution reaction, that is one of the hydrogen atoms of the amine is replaced by the acetyl group CH3CO group. Thus we get C2H5 NHCO CH3. One of the hydrogen is replaced by the acetyl group. So the resultant amide is N-ethyl ethanamide. Next is a secondary amine. Its reaction with acetyl chloride, and acetylation reaction takes place in the presence of a base to give N-N-diethyl ethanamide. Since there are no replaceable hydrogen atoms on nitrogen in the case of tertiary amines, they will not undergo acylation reaction. Next is benzylation. Benzylation refers to the process of the replacement of a hydrogen atom of the amino group by the benzoyl, that is C6H5CO group. Here also primary and secondary amines undergo benzylation when treated with benzoyl chloride in the presence of a base like pyridine or NaOH to yield N-substituted amides. These reactions are generally known as Schotten-Baumann reaction, and it is usually shown by compounds containing active hydrogen such as alcohols, phenols, amines, etc. Benzylation of ethyl amine using benzoyl chloride in the presence of a base like pyridine gives N-substituted amides. Here it is N-ethyl benzamide. Next is Hofmann elimination. It is the process which involves the conversion of an amine into an alkene. Elimination reactions of quaternary ammonium halides are generally termed as Hofmann eliminations. That is, it is a nucleophilic beta elimination reaction that proceeds by E2 mechanism. In Hofmann elimination, simple amines are converted to quaternary ammonium halides by the process of exhaustive alkylation, and it is usually done with methyl iodide. The halide ion in the quaternary ammonium halide is replaced by the more basic hydroxide ion through hydrolysis using silver hydroxide or moist silver oxide. Then the resulting quaternary ammonium hydroxide is heated strongly at about 100 to 200 degrees Celsius to effect the E2 elimination of a tertiary amine. That is, the quaternary ammonium hydroxide decomposes to give a tertiary amine and an alkene. This process is known as, or this reaction is known as Hofmann elimination. For an elimination to occur, one of the alkyl substituents present on the nitrogen must have one or more beta hydrogens. Suppose if the given alkyl group has two different sets of beta hydrogens available for elimination process, then the major product is often the alkene that have the less substituted double bond, or the major product will be the alkene with least substituted double bond, or it is known as a terminal alkene. Although most elimination reactions involving neutral substrates tend to follow Zaitsev rule, eliminations with charged substrate of this type, this is a quaternary ammonium hydroxide. This compound is a quaternary ammonium hydroxide, a charged substrate. So eliminations with charged substrate tend to follow what is called the Hofmann rule, and it yield mainly the least substituted alkene. So the major product in an Hofmann elimination reaction will be the least substituted alkene, and the trace amount will be the Zaitsev product. The E2 mechanism for the reaction involves a concerted pathway in which the base, that is OH minus, pulls a proton or hydrogen away from the beta carbon atom. Thus, a new pi bond will be formed between the beta carbon and the alpha carbon, and this will be the leaving group, and it is a trimethyl amino group. So what happens is, this leaving group detaches with the bond pair as NCH3 thrice. There will be a lone pair here. So the leaving group will be a trimethyl amino group. One possible explanation for the transition state of elimination reaction with charged substrate is that they have a considerable carbanionic character, or the transition state is a carbanion like transition state, because the CH bond is broken to a greater extent than the CX bond, and usually this carbanion is stabilized by the presence of strongly electron withdrawing groups such as CH3 thrice N plus. Or we can say that actually it is very difficult this CH bond, and the transition state becomes more carbanion-like in character, and therefore Hofmann elimination becomes more pronounced. Hofmann eliminations are stereoselective for anti-elimination, which means that the hydrogen and the leaving group must be anti to each other. So Hofmann elimination is having an anti-stereo selectivity. These are examples for Hofmann elimination reactions. This is the charged substrate. This is a quaternary ammonium halide. When hydrolyzed with silver hydroxide, it gets converted to a quaternary ammonium hydroxide, which upon heating at about 100 to 200 degrees Celsius, we get a tertiary amine and an alkene. In the Hofmann elimination of quaternary ammonium hydroxide, the major product is commonly the least substituted alkene. This is actually one form of Hofmann's rule. You can find out the Hofmann elimination product for the following compounds. The main product will be the least substituted alkene or terminal alkene, that is in accordance with the Hofmann's rule, and a tertiary amine. Next we'll see reaction with nitrous acid. Three classes of amines react differently with nitrous acid. First one is action of aliphatic and aromatic primary amines with nitrous acid. Aliphatic primary amines react with nitrous acid. Nitrous acid is obtained from the reaction of sodium nitrite and HCl. A primary aliphatic amine, it reacts with nitric acid to form aliphatic disonium salt, which being unstable liberate nitrogen gas and yield alcohols. Whereas aromatic primary amines undergoes diazotization reaction with nitrous acid to form benzene disonium chloride. The solution containing benzene disonium chloride can be used for the preparation of a variety of organic compounds, or it has large number of synthetic applications. Next is reaction of secondary amines with nitrous acid. Aliphatic and aromatic secondary amines react with nitrous acid, that is NaNO2 plus HCl, to form N-nitrosoamines, which are water insoluble yellow oils. So dimethylamine, it is an aliphatic secondary amine. It reacts with nitrous acid to give N-nitroso-dimethylamine. Similarly, aromatic secondary amine, that is N-methylaniline, it reacts with nitrous acid to form N-nitroso-N-methylanilene. So generally, secondary amines react with nitrous acid to form N-nitrosoamines. Next is action of tertiary amines with nitrous acid. Aliphatic tertiary amines react with nitrous acid to form trialkyl ammonium nitrites. That is, these are salts. It is reaction of a base with an acid. So these generally give salts, trialkyl ammonium nitrites, which are soluble in water. Whereas aromatic tertiary amines react with nitrous acid to form para-nitroso derivatives. This is NN-dimethylanilene. It reacts with nitrous acid to form para-nitroso-NN-dimethylanilene. So reaction of aliphatic and aromatic primary amines with nitrous acid give alcohols and benzene disonium chloride. Secondary amines react with nitrous acid to give N-nitrosoamines, and tertiary amines react with nitrous acid to form salts in the case of aliphatic tertiary amines, and aromatic tertiary amines give para-nitroso derivatives. Electrophilic substitution reactions of aryl amines. As we know that the amino group of aniline, due to resonance, the ortho and para positions of the benzene ring acquire a higher electron density. This means that amino group is ortho-para directing in aromatic electrophilic substitution reactions. So any electrophile would prefer to attack at these positions which are of higher electron density. Further, the amino group is highly activating through the plus sum effect. So in electrophilic substitution reactions of aniline, often tri-substituted products are obtained rather than mono-substituted. So in order to get a mono-substituted product, the activating influence of the amino group has to be moderated, and this can be done by acetylating the amino group. This is because in the acetylated product, the nitrogen lone pair is involved in resonance within the group, which is shown here. So this lone pair will be less available for donation. Thus, the activating effect of the acetylated group will be less when compared to that of amino group. Therefore, rather than tri-substituted product, a mono-substituted product will be formed. The mono-substituted acetanilide thus obtained from this reaction can be hydrolyzed easily to yield the mono-substituted aniline. Some of the electrophilic substitution reactions of the aniline are shown here. First one is bromination. Bromination of aniline with bromine water yields 2,4,6-tribromoaniline. This is a tri-substituted derivative because of the highly activating influence of the amino group. So the activating influence of the amino group can be moderated by acetylating it using acetic anhydride in presence of pyridine. So the amino group gets converted to NHCOCH3 group after acetylation. Now this can be brominated with bromine water. We get a bromo derivative. This is a monosubstituted acetanilide. Now this upon hydrolysis removes this acetylated part, thereby giving a bromo substituted aniline. Similarly, nitration also can be carried out in the same manner. That is, nitration of aniline can be done. First, it has to be acetylated using acetic anhydride in presence of pyridine to get acetanilide, that is NH2 group, amino group gets converted to the acetylated form NHCOCH3 with nitrating mixture, that is nitric acid and H2SO4 at low temperature at 288 Kelvin. Nitration can be done. So a para-nitro derivative is obtained, para-nitro-acetanilide. This upon hydrolysis we get para-nitro-aniline. Next is sulfonation. When heated with concentrated sulfuric acid, aniline mainly yields a para-amino benzene sulfonic acid, commonly known as sulfanic acid. When aniline reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid, first it gives a salt. The corresponding salt is obtained. Now this upon heating, it gets converted to para-amino benzene sulfonic acid, commonly known as sulfanic acid.